Today, we're looking at this huge collection of, well, just everyday English sentences, the kind of stuff you hear and use constantly. We're not just going to list them, though. We want to really dig into the core structures, the building blocks of how we actually talk.
Right. And the mission, really, for you listening, is to maybe find a bit of a shortcut. The idea is to stop getting bogged down by endless vocabulary lists. Instead, we want you to start seeing the patterns. Because honestly, these sources show that most complex ideas in conversation, they rely on a really small group of super versatile verbs. Master how those change meaning with different structures. And, well, you get fluent much faster.
Okay, so turning that sort of grammar anxiety into recognizing patterns on the fly. I like that. Let's dive right in then. The essential movement verbs, kume and go.
Yeah.
They seem simple, yeah. But
Yeah.
wow, they do a lot of work. They're foundational.
They really do double duty, don't they? Take come. We all know it for, literal arrival. Please come home early. Simple. But the real power, I think, is how it expresses arrival in a more figurative way. Cognitive arrival.
Cognitive arrival. Where do we see that happening? Can you give an example?
Yeah, absolutely. It's in things like talking about the future. The best is yet to come. Okay? But more importantly for learning, it's when people talk about realizing something. You hear this a lot in the source material. I've come to realize how important this is to you. It's like arriving at a new understanding.
Ah, okay. So it's describing an internal journey reaching its end point. Like I remember seeing the idea didn't come to me until much later.
Yeah.
Or even the effort involved. Like when you have to come up with a solution, that's mental effort.
Exactly. So the key takeaway isn't just about physical location with come. It's a destination, yeah, but maybe on a timeline or inside your own head.
Got it.
Precisely. Now, let's flip to go. If come is about arrival, Guy is often more about sustained movement, progression, or chasing something. Think about planning activities. Go to the beach, go hiking, go fishing. These are structured things you do.
But I'm noticing, looking through these examples, the real heavy lifting for Joe seems to be in the phrasal verbs. That's where simple movement turns into, like action, and really looking closely at things. Where does that effort show up?
Oh, it's everywhere. We use Joe to talk about getting through tough times. He had to go through a lot to achieve his dream. That's endurance. We also use it for just pushing forward, like when you go ahead with the project despite the setbacks. It's this continuous movement through something or towards something.
Right, persistence. And you mentioned scrutiny. That's interesting. Like when we ask someone, can you go over these documents?
Exactly. You're not physically moving over them.
No.
You're examining them, reviewing them. It's that difference between just moving and applying focused energy or attention.
Okay, so come and go set the stage for movement, both literal and figurative.
And if they handle movement, our next set handles attitude. This is where we get into the modal verbs. They're like the engine for all the nuance, letting us talk about certainty or obligation or advice without always having to state something as a hard fact.
Ah, yes. And this brings up that classic sticking point for learners. Judging possibility. May versus might. I mean, okay, may suggests potential varying outcomes, but how is that really different from might in everyday speech? Does it actually matter that much?
It does, yeah. I think it really matters because the feel is different. May often sounds a bit more certain, maybe a touch more formal, and it often connects to like external facts or conditions. So you use it for predictions where different results are genuinely possible. The symptoms may vary from person to person. It suggests a known potential, you see.
Okay.
Or for requirements, you may need to revise your report. There's an external reason for that possibility.
And might then is?
Might is, well, softer. It's more for the tentative suggestion or the prediction you're less sure about. It often reflects the speaker's own doubt, perhaps, like the weather might turn bad later. You're not totally sure. Or you might find this book interesting. It's just a suggestion.
So may is possibility-based more on fact or permission, while might is more about suggestion or a lower level of certainty. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's about that subtle shading.
Okay. Then we leap up the scale to must. No more, maybe here. This obligation, right? Or strong belief.
Definitely. And the power of must splits neatly into two main uses. First, the absolute requirement. We must adhere to the guidelines provided. No wiggle room. But conversationally, it's maybe even more common for logical deductions. When you look at the evidence and conclude something like, she must be very tired after such a long day.
Right, you see her yawning or something.
Exactly. Or figuring, he must have known about the surprise party. You're not just guessing. You're stating something you feel is almost certainly true based on what you know.
Okay. And then rounding out the modals, we have the sort of social lubricants. Could, should, and would. Essential for smooth interactions.
Absolutely essential. Could handles those polite requests. Could you please pass the salt? We use that all the time. And talks about passability. He could run faster than anyone else back then. Should is your go-to for advice, isn't it? You should drink more water, or making recommendations for behavior. We should try to be more understanding of others' perspectives. It's guidance.
And would, that feels very versatile too.
Yeah.
Polite offers, hypotheticals.
Exactly. Foundational politeness. Would you like some tea? But also expressing dreams or possibilities. I would love to visit Paris someday. And importantly, talking about past habits, routines. She would often walk to the park in the evenings. It paints a picture of the past.
So these three, could, should, would they let you speak conditionally, offer advice gently, be polite. Really crucial for, well, not sounding demanding or argumentative.
Precisely. They manage the social dynamics. Okay, so if modals handle the attitude, this next group handles the, let's call it transaction, the real workhorses of daily exchange. Have, take, give, and get. Let's kick off with an EVN take.
Right. Have. It's obviously about possession, but it goes way beyond just owning stuff, doesn't it? What's the key pattern we should recognize with Havey?
Yes, much broader. Have really anchors your personal status, your experiences, not just owning things, but ongoing states. We have been friends since childhood. That defines a relationship over time. Or significant experiences. I have never seen such a beautiful sunset before. And maybe most importantly, obligation. The transaction of what's required. You have to try this new restaurant, or you have to complete the form.
So have defines who you are, what you've experienced, or what you're obliged to do.
That nails it. It sets your state or your requirements.
And take. Looking at the examples, it seems to be all about grabbing hold of something, taking responsibility, taking time, taking control.
That's a fantastic way to summarize it. Yeah. Take is about assuming control. I will take care of everything. Or assuming responsibility. We need to take responsibility for our actions. It measures time, too. It can take years to master a new language, and it covers adopting something new, like a role. She decided to take on a new challenge at work, exam. Basically, take is the verb for actively pulling something towards you, into your control or responsibility.
Okay, now for the other pair. Get, ease, and give. Get, ease. That one always feels like the ultimate shortcut verb in English. Super efficient, but sometimes confusing because it does so much.
It is incredibly efficient.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why it can seem confusing. But I think if you focus on its three main replacement functions, it gets easier. Get is often the quickest way to say acquire, arrive, or understand.
Acquire, arrive, understand. Okay.
Right. Acquisition. Could you get me a glass of water? Simple receiving. Arrival or movement. How do I get to the nearest subway station? Or even figurative movement like get into shape. And this one's key, understanding. He didn't get the joke at first. If you nail those three, giti becomes much less intimidating.
That clarifies it a lot. And gavi is the opposite motion then. Transferring outwards, putting in effort.
Exactly right. Give is outward. Simple transfers, give me a call. More formal effort, they will give a presentation. There are also common idioms about stopping, like he tried to give up smoking. And that sense of contribution is strong too. Like when we talk about making an effort to give back to the community, it's about output.
Makes sense. Now, before we jump to fluency tools, we probably should give a quick mention to two other really common utility verbs, nair and w, and look. They seem to pop up everywhere, but often not just by themselves.
Yeah, good point. They often need context, usually in phrases or phrasal verbs. They act as markers, often for expertise or relationships, like ne and o. It's frequently idiomatic, isn't it? Like knowing the area like the back of their hand. That implies deep familiarity.
Right. And look seems almost always part of a phrasal verb defining some kind of social interaction. Looking out for someone.
Yeah, always look out for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, meaning protect or care for.
Or looking up to someone.
I look up to my older sister for her wisdom, expressing admiration or respect. So yeah, they're crucial for conveying that social and emotional layer.
Okay, great. So we've got the core verbs down. Movement, attitude, transaction.
The building blocks are there.
Now, how do we make it all sound fast, natural, fluent? This is where we get into the tools for speed and flow. starting with contractions.
Yes, contractions are more than just squishing words together. They're structural shortcuts, too, especially with the perfect tense. You mentioned I've, you've, they've.
Yeah.
Why is that specific set so important?
Well, you tell me. Why does using I've instead of I have make such a difference to the flow?
Because it gives you instant context. The perfect tense connects the past to the present moment, right? Using the contraction I've lets you state that connection, a current status or an ongoing experience, immediately without breaking your conversational rhythm. You're not lecturing about the past. You're declaring a present reality built on the past. Like, I've been working on this project for months. Boom, status declared.
Okay. Or establishing shared history quickly. We've known each other since school. It sets the scene instantly.
Exactly. Instant shared reality.
And then there's the commitment contraction. That's all about the future, right? Plans, promises, made efficiently.
Totally. I'll be happy to help with that.
Right.
Or I'll do the budgeting for our expenses. Yeah. It signals your intention right away. Very direct, very natural.
Okay, contractions for speed and status.
And finally, we get to what I think is maybe the most sophisticated tool for fluency, especially when talking about bigger ideas. The impersonal structure. Those phrases starting with it doesn't or it wouldn't. By dropping the I or you step back from personal opinion. You state something as more of a general observation or a logical truth.
Yeah, this is where looking at the source sentences got really interesting. That phrase, it doesn't matter, popped up a lot, and it felt quite powerful.
It is powerful. It's a reframing tool. It shifts the focus away from maybe personal worry towards a more universal perspective. The source material had some profound ones. It doesn't matter what you wear to the party as long as you have fun. That's about priorities.
Right. Or this one, it doesn't matter if you make mistakes as long as you learn from them. That feels like giving permission to be human almost.
Exactly. You're defining what objectively matters or doesn't matter in a situation. It takes the personal sting out sometimes.
And the wooden structure does something similar, but maybe more for setting boundaries, defining what's unwise or not right.
Precisely. It establishes clear logical or ethical lines. It wouldn't be wise to make a decision without all the facts. That's stating a principle of good judgment.
Or setting a moral compass. It wouldn't be ethical to cheat on the exam and logic. It wouldn't be logical to assume that everyone thinks the same way. It makes a statement objective.
Yeah, these structures are how native speakers often discuss abstract things. Morality, logic, wisdom efficiently, and, crucially, without making it all about their personal opinion. It removes the ego,
What a journey. Okay, so wrapping it up, we've really seen that mastering confident conversation isn't about memorizing a dictionary. It's about getting comfortable with this core toolkit. Understanding how come and go shift, meaning using modals like may, must, should to express attitude, leveraging those workhorses have, take, get, give for daily transactions, and then adding speed and, wisdom with contractions and those impersonal it phrases.
Absolutely. You've nailed the key components. And maybe there's a final thought, something for you, the listener, to take away and think about. We noticed a really frequent pattern in the source sentences, particularly around self-improvement. Lots of statements, starting with, I've tried to be more. Like, I've tried to be more patient with myself, or I've tried to be more confident. I've tried to be more spontaneous. Now, we've just talked about the language of status and intent with I've. But here's the question. If so many of these important personal goals start in the zone of I've tried, what's the shift needed? What change in language or maybe in action moves you from I've tried to the more definite, concrete statement, I have done? Something to ponder as you start using these core structures more consciously in your own life.